doing, everybody? Luke Dancy here. As you can see, I'm joined by the one and only Danny Weiser once again. I feel like we just did this, man. How are you?
Yeah, deja vu, right? Just different
Yes.
clothes, different day.
Yeah. Well, first we were chatting about your Weiser wallet, which is now getting harder and harder to find because it's been sold out everywhere. How dare you?
Yeah. Ah, I'm so
um,
proud
but now we're
of
back. The guys just saw the trailer for this behind me here. Moreo, a much different, much different effect from the Weiser wallet. And I'm super stoked to talk about it. So why don't we go ahead and jump right into some of those questions I know people have about this. How the heck? How did you come up with something like Moreo? I mean, let's be honest. This is not like a card trick. It's not a coin trick. Like, this is so different.
I actually had one of those stretch quarter gimmicks.
Yep.
Do you remember those? Like a guitar pick when it stretched many, many moons ago. And I always wanted to try and use that in a different way. And one time I was eating Oreos like any natural human would. And my son wanted some of the Oreos, and I literally only had one left. And I'm like, what would be really cool if like I stretched it out and it became two. So that's the idea that came to my head, was to make the Oreo split from one into two. And I wanted to get the same visual as like the stretch quarter. So if I stretched it and then pulled it apart, it would morph into two.
The next very common question that people are going to have, everyone wants to know, this is something with a cookie, it's something with an edible thing. Can you actually eat this once you do the trick? I know everyone's sitting there going, yeah, but can I do that? So what better person to answer that than Danny Weiser?
Yeah, so you'll even see in the trailer, Hanson actually takes the Oreo, he stretches it, and then he breaks it in half and then eats it. So the answer is yes and no. Some of the routines you can eat the Oreo, and some of the routines, a majority of the routines, you can. So yes and no.
Okay.
Um, but you pretty much start clean and you end clean, um, with the routines that have been given.
So the next thing people want to know, obviously, is what's the skill level? It's a pretty basic question, but people want to know these things before they buy. Can anyone pretty much pick this up and do it, or is this one going to take some work?
So, like all of my effects that I put on the market, I want to make them as simple as possible, as simple as possible to perform. I'm not a very handsy kind of guy. I don't do a lot of sleights when it comes to cards. I know very simple, basic sleights. So I want to, and when I create with like the beginner in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much anybody can do it. So there's routines that start with, the basic, and then they move up to the more advanced skill level. Obviously, with anything, practice makes perfect. So if you want to get to, one of the stronger routines, the more visual pieces, that will take a little bit more practice. But within a day or two of practicing and doing it in front of the mirror, easily achievable. So I would say from beginner to advanced.
And the gimmick is actually made in a way too that it kind of makes it easy to
Oh.
hide, if that makes sense. To conceal. That's the word I'm looking for, to conceal it. The gimmick is kind of form fitting for your hand. It kind of works that way, even I don't think you meant to do it that way. So yeah.
No, the Oreos itself are like the perfect size. They're finger food, so it
Yeah.
kind of lent to like an easier, manageable gimmick. It has been a process, and I'm glad that it's gone through that process, because we finally have a final product that, for one, I'm super proud of, and two, is super easy to use and will last you forever, literally forever.
Yeah. I am glad you mentioned that, because people might look at this and go, but wait, a cookie will break and it'll crumble. This obviously is not a real cookie, so it's gonna be good to go.
Yeah, no refills. It's perfect for me, at least. I hope other people will see it that way as well. But it's a pretty easy and simple way to accomplish it.
Yep. And I'm just watching some of this here with you. The visuals look so great, so I could definitely see people wanting to do this, for Instagram, Facebook, whatever, all the social platforms. I mean, it definitely is great for that. But just like the rest of your stuff, it's also great for the real world, which is always super important for
Oh yeah.
the performers. Yeah.
And I want to say, Hansen's company was actually really nice enough to put a practice Oreo inside of the package, so you can get started practicing right away, even if you can't make it out to the store to go purchase a package of Oreos.
And the name alone, I know that that was kind of a combo thing you guys came up with. The name is great. I mean, come on, that's meant to
Thanks.
be.
Yeah,
It's meant to
I
be.
initially called it a little bit more, and then Hansen mentioned Moreo. I'm like, oh, I actually like it.
Yeah.
It's like a nice marriage, you know.
One of the last questions I got for you here is, when it comes to performance stuff, people want to know about the angles. So with Moreo in particular, with something this visual, this good, what are the angles like for this one out in the performing in the real world for real people?
Great question. So I would say probably like a 180
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Obviously, audience management is a huge thing. You might be able to go slightly further, but I think definitely 180 to be safe. When I perform this, though, I usually have everyone in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do the effect at my face, which is another plus.
So and as you mentioned before, I know people want to know everything you need is included. There's no do it yourself here. There's nothing you have to put together and make yourself. This is fully packaged and ready to go right out of the box, huh?
Yeah, beautifully packaged, might I add.
Yeah.
It's like a little nice little cutout. It's cute. I like it.
And the
I'm pretty
Oreos, the Oreos that you would normally buy in a store. I know this is going to be one last question people are going to have. I can see it now.
sure.
Do they look like real Oreos? Because obviously we're seeing it in the trailer. If you were to put one next to a real Oreo, the gimmick rather, next to a real Oreo, is it pretty much a home run when it comes to the way that looks?
Yeah, so we got. I mean, you could see in the tutorial also how the different prototypes that we've gone to the final prototype,
Mm-hmm.
the final gimmick, and the textures was one of the biggest thing for me, and that I really wanted to make sure that it matched the texture of a cookie. So it's very, very, very close. Obviously, if you sit and look at both of them for a good 5 minutes,
Yep.
you could tell that one's a little bit different than the other. But as you're doing the effect, it's a pretty quick trick. So you won't be able to tell the difference within 1 to 2 minutes, especially as you're performing. Textures are very, very, very close. You would need like a microscope to pretty much tell.
And I saw the same thing on the tutorial part. I mean, you guys definitely compared them from different countries, which is cool. And you got
Yeah.
it pretty much right in the middle to match as close to everything as possible. So it is very realistic. I just didn't want to be the one saying it. I thought I'd let you be the one to sing the praises of
Yeah.
this one.
And
So,
every country has a different
yeah,
size Oreo.
yeah,
So that was a tricky thing for us, but we found the right medium to be able to capture all of those.
cool. Hopefully this
Oh,
helped the guys out. As always, though, I'm sure if they have more questions, they can just pop them in below, and we can both be out there keeping an eye on it and doing our best to help. But this one, I don't think. I think we pretty much nailed all the big things, but I mean, who knows what someone might come up with. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Heck, if someone has a question, by all means.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Well, Danny, I appreciate you, man. I know this is exactly what people needed. So thank you for spending some time with me to give the people what they want. Another great piece of magic, but more importantly, the information to go along with it. So we all appreciate that. And we'll keep an eye out for the next Danny Weiser piece of goodness. Yes.
Sweet deal.
All right, my friend. I will catch you next time.
All right, Luke. Take care. Thanks, buddy.